Hello, welcome to 8.9 News. I'm Costain. Hemp is an important fibre crop that's becoming increasingly popular with farmers looking to diversify their income streams. Christy York farms at the Hutton Wandesley Estate in the Vale of York. And I asked Christy what attracted him to hemp in the first place.
I think it was really a diversification play for us. We grow a range of different cereal crops and have a big potato operation as well. But the opportunity to grow something that would immediately go to a local producer and was particularly low input for us was very attractive.
So essentially it's a break crop for you, is it?
It's a break crop. It's a great rotation crop for us. Both the hemp plant has a very long taproot. It's very low input as far as herbicides, pesticides, fungicides are concerned. So it just made a lot of sense for us. I think from a fitting into the harvest or the agricultural year, yeah, we typically drill it after most of our spring work has been done already. So that'll be sort of mid May. It has a very fast growth cycle, so that you are harvesting it within 4 months. And really, we have very little to do to the crop, to do to the plant in that time, and it will grow from nothing to 8 to 12 feet within 4 months.
How does hemp fit into your business structure?
It's really just the honest answer is it doesn't naturally, but I'm pretty relaxed about that. It was the opportunity to, as I said, to have a different rotational crop. We grow vining peas, which again would fit into that category. That is more of a sort of nitrogen fixer for us. But hemp is really just a low input rotational crop that can grow. It likes lighter, sandier soil, and the farm here is split between lighter, sandier stuff, which is good for root crops, and slightly heavier clay-based soil, which is for everything else. But it's quite happily grown. We've tried it on both soil structures, and it's whilst it prefers the lighter soil, it grows very, very happily on the heavier stuff.
How big is your farm overall, and how much does the hemp take of it?
So the farm in total is just under 3,000 acres. We've got about 2,000 under the plough, as it were, and the hemp will be no more than 50, 60 acres a time. This 2024 will be our fourth year of harvesting or drilling the crop. And so it is rotated now, I guess, over about 200 acres, or will do about 200 acres of the farm in total.
Now, you mentioned that this is going to a local supplier. So what actually happens to it?
So the local supplier is a sort of high-end mattress manufacturer who initially were using the hemp fibers purely for mattress filling. However, they've developed their technology to the extent that pretty much the entire mattress construction, both outer, inner, headboard, and anything to do with the mattress itself, is produced from a hemp byproduct. They are 10 miles down the road, are fantastic in terms of advice, and were the sort of guys that we were able to talk to initially about whether or not it was a good option for us.
Now, you've talked about one or two of the business advantages of hemp, its use as a break crop, for example. Are there also environmental benefits?
Yeah, I mean, the low input side, as I've talked about with, so we typically put nothing on it. It's drilled, providing we have some rain, which has not been an issue for us in the last few years. It does struggle in very dry conditions, but we've been lucky that we've had wet springs and summers. No herbicides, no pesticides, no fungicides. The cover itself that the plant produces as it gets to maturity is huge. There are no natural predators for the plant itself. And it's a bit of a haven, I guess, for wildlife as well. I think for every ton of hemp that is produced, it sequesters 1.6 tons of carbon dioxide as well, which is a beneficial sort of byproduct of what we're doing.
Hemp is a notoriously strong fibre, so are there challenges with harvesting it?
Yes, thankfully, although we will drill it and ted it and bale it, we're not harvesting it, thank heavens. We have a contractor that comes in with a terrifying piece of equipment, which is a three rear-mounted blades on a tractor, typically at sort of knee, chest, and head height, to take a 12-foot plant down, and we'll cut it in 3 lengths. That fibre is incredibly tough when it is first harvested. It will then ret for about 6 weeks on the ground to let the leaves fall off, so you're just left with the actual stalk itself. As I said, we will ted that once and then row it up and then bale it probably sort of September time, by which stage, although it is still pretty fibrous and pretty tough, it's a lot more manageable than it was when it was first harvested.
Christy, you talk about a contractor there with specialist equipment, and then of course the hemp is going to the mattress producer. So is there quite a cluster of farmers producing hemp in the York area? I'm guessing that you're not the only one feeding into that supply chain.
No, indeed, and I was very keen to take soundings from local growers before we embarked on this. Yes, there are a number in Yorkshire and East Yorkshire particularly who are growing it, and that kind of information transfer is pretty useful for us.
What advice would you give to farmers who are just starting to think about producing hemp?
I think the most challenging aspect is nothing to do with actually growing the crop. It's dealing with the Home Office and dealing with licensing, which is a pain, quite frankly. It's reasonably expensive. It's quite time intensive, and that is, I would guess, the thing that one needs to look into before one commits to growing this crop. Once that's done, I think identifying a market for your product in the same way that you would market any agricultural product, and look at how it fits into your crop rotation on the farm particularly. For us, that's been relatively easy, but for others, it might be more challenging.
What is it that concerns the Home Office? What information do they require?
Well, it's anything. I think they are terrified of anything with which contains even minute quantities of THC. We're obviously not growing this for flowers or seeds. We are purely growing it for the fibre, but you seem to have to jump through similar sized hoops, whether you wish to grow for oil or whether you're just simply growing for fibre. I imagine that will, in time, get better, and farmers or growers' experiences will improve, but at the moment it's still relatively challenging.
That was Christy York from the Hutton Wandesley Estate. More news on our website, 8.9.com. That's all for now. We're back soon. Thanks for watching.